Hello, everyone. We're getting everybody into the room right now, so give everybody a chance to connect to their audio. And we are streaming this to YouTube, so just give me a second to set that up as well. Or maybe we're not. Let's see. This happened last time. Live on YouTube.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Kaylin. Thanks for being here.
Oh my goodness, of course. Y'all are some of my favorite people to get on calls with. And I apologize for my deep voice. I think I have some sort of sickness right now. So I apologize for that very hoarse sound you're hearing.
Okay, that's okay. Hopefully we'll get some questions and that will take away some of your talking or, just showing some things is always helpful.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's totally fine. And yeah, we're happy to have you here today so that we can show off some more things that Jasper does. And I know we're using Jasper all the time. So, Katie, did you want to start it off?
Sure. So I was able to get it to stream to Facebook, so that's where we're going to be today. So typically we go over just a little bit of news in the beginning as far as what's going on in the world of AI. And you can always view that news through our newsletter or on the blog. A few things that I think everyone will appreciate here is one of the things that we keep seeing pop up in news around AI is everybody's worried that AI is going to replace your job. And I cannot tell you how many articles I've seen come out recently how AI is not going to replace your job, but those who know how to use AI appropriately might be the ones who are taking your job. And I'm sure Kaylin has a few thoughts on that as well. So one of the articles we linked was from a Salesforce event, and that's a pretty major event where they're talking about that. Salesforce is in a lot of different businesses, so the fact that they're acknowledging that is pretty significant. In other news, there was something. Let's see if I can pull it up for you all here. There's a new digital haunting research study going on. And this one is very interesting because we have often talked about companies like Hagen, Synthesia, where you create your own avatar. And there are AI ethicists that are using these tools kind of as research studies to see what it would be like if people loved ones who have passed on, if you have AI avatars of them. I thought that was really fascinating because we've talked about using avatars in business. Never really thought about using it to talk to great Uncle Bob once he's gone. But this is a really interesting read if you have a second to read that. They talk about it's a little bit of an ethical minefield. I'm curious if anyone has any thoughts on that here in this group.
Well, I thought it was really interesting, because we have been using the Heijen. So this is the part about AI that I find the most fun. And the part even about Jasper that I find the most fun because Kaylin will show me how to use something and then I will take it and then I will do something extra with it and see what else I can do. And that's what this has done. So they took something which was simply just making an avatar and you want to feed it a script. Well, now they looked at it and they're like, well, hey, if we can get, you know, Andrea to have her own avatar and have this script, why couldn't we do that if we had Uncle Bob's writings, feed all of that, and now have Uncle Bob be speaking to us from beyond because we have his voice and the way he sounded. And that's just like, again, that's creativity because in the way that they're using it. So I think it's really cool. Kind of bizarre, but also really cool, because it's the same thing. And it's the same thing I'm always telling even the people on our team and the students, you're only limited by your creativity of the way that you can use the tools. So yes, we may teach you A, B, C, but always think about these other ways of how you can use it. Here's a really excellent example, and they just created a business around it. So I think it's interesting.
Same. I find it completely fascinating. On a similar note, another piece of news was how Reid Hoffman, who is the LinkedIn co-founder, if you're not familiar with him, he recently interviewed himself. So he recorded this live. He had his AI twin and they had a conversation, and it was a complete deep dive. So when you think about these avatars or AI twins or whatever you want to call them, they aren't just like talking in a robotic sounding way. They sound like the actual person. And some of the things that we've put out there, they're not as fine-tuned. And you can get to that level of fine-tuning your AI twin if that's something that you want to do. It's very interesting where this is all headed. So I'm curious if anybody has had a chance to create their own avatar in this group yet. You can raise your hand or say no. I know Andrea has. We had her talking in French one day.
I think I have a homework assignment for myself after work today, so I know what I'll be doing. Love it.
So the other pieces of news were really talking about the pay-to-play social media that we've been seeing come out. I know Meta recently released their subscription models, and a lot of creators were freaking out about it, honestly. And after hearing some of the people from Meta Business talk about the program, I don't think we're going to need to worry about it as much as everybody is, in a little hustle and bustle about. It looks like the subscription models are more for businesses so that they can be on that featured page. It should not really affect organic traffic at all. So this is just a similar program to, how you might use paid ads. But it's going to show your business in Facebook and Instagram's featured area. So this is not the first social media platform to do pay to play. We see Twitter or X doing it right now. And the one thing I will say I have noticed in a lot of my social circles, the blue check mark is just not, we don't look at it the same anymore. So it's good to have because you do get access to customer support and a lot of other features that you might not have access to if you are not paying. So if you are one of those types of people who needs a lot of help on social media platforms for your business, that might be something to look into. But otherwise, we'll have to still kind of watch and see where things are headed with these programs being released. And I'll show everyone what we worked on for the visual vault, and then we'll hand it over to Kaylin after this. So each week we go into different ways to use imagery with AI. And I find a lot of people don't really like the AIE look that a lot of images are created with. Depends on if you're using Leonardo or DALL-E or Midjourney. Everything kind of, when it's generated, it just all looks, there's an AI look to it. And so if you're wanting to avoid that, there's some different techniques that you can use in your prompting. And one of the techniques that we looked at is using film stock words in your prompts. And there's so many references out there. I'm curious if anybody has had a chance to utilize this in their prompts yet. I know Marikar is super into Leonardo. Yeah.
Yes.
Have you tried using the film stocks yet?
Not yet, but I will try later after this.
It looks really good.
Yes.
Yeah, it's film stocks. For those who don't know, it's basically the different type of film that has been used through the years. And you can go to these websites. Wikipedia has several lists, and you can actually just Google film stocks or list of film stocks, and a bunch will come up. But these are just different types of film that have been used. And what I like about some of these websites is they'll show you, let's see here, they'll show you like the colors, if it'll load for me. My internet's going a little slow today. But they'll show you like the colors that are used in these film stocks. So let's see if I can get one to load here. So these are just different types of film, and they have different colors or different shading to them. And it's just not going to load for me today. So we'll take a look at the Wikipedia one. Okay, so the Wikipedia one, it lists it by alphabetical order, and you have black and white, and it will, in the description here, it will show you the detail of the film or the appearance of the film. So if we go down to, let's say this one is a panchromatic black and white. This one is a medium speed film with distinct grain quality. There's some daylight balanced, color negative, tungsten balance. And so if we go back and look at the pictures here, just using these different types of film stock, you can see the colors on each one. It's basically like color grading for your AI images by telling it what type of film to use. And that's not all you can do. You can actually tell it what type of camera to use as well, what type of lens to use. And doing this, when you add this to your prompt, it just helps it get rid of that AI look. So I love adding these when we're creating images, just to give them a more cinematic feel. Okay, so that is about it for the AI news. I know a lot of people here are here to see Kaylin talk about Jasper.
And before you do that, we are going to put the HeyGen link in the chat so you can have some free avatar credits.
Amazing.
So be sure to take advantage of that. Marikar will be putting that in the chat. So you'll get some free credits and you can practice working on your avatar. It's really cool and fun, and it's so easy to do. It's very addicting. So anyway, take it away, Kaylin.
Oh my goodness. I feel like I came on this call ready to talk about Jasper, but now I want to do so many other things. This is amazing. I feel like I'm learning things, and I'm seeing some customers here as well. Great to see y'all. Oh my goodness. Hello. How are you?
Hello, hello.
That's probably my favorite part, is getting on calls and recognizing familiar names and familiar faces.
Well,
amazing.
now you know where they came from, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So much fun. Well, if I haven't met you yet, my name is Kaylin DeCourt, and I am a customer success manager here at Jasper. If you joined a couple minutes late, I apologize for my voice. It is extremely hoarse. I don't know what I'm dealing with, so bear with me and my sound. So sorry, probably not the most amazing thing to hear on my end, but super excited to spend some time with you guys. I know there might be some questions. Just for a little bit of context, I've been at Jasper for, oh my goodness, I think it's almost 2.5 years now. So I was hired as employee number 11, and I was hired in January of 2022. And so this was around 8 or 9 months before ChatGPT kind of started its craze. And so I've been in the field of generative AI for quite some time. I work with over 2,000 customers directly. And so I love our product. I love getting to know customers, understand use cases. I feel like I'm constantly learning from everyone else, especially this team right here. And so super excited to answer a couple more questions and kind of give you some background into Jasper. Is there anything, Katie, Andrea, that I need to add prior to that? Or do you want to kind of just dive into some context of background of Jasper, kind of walk through the platform a little bit?
I'd say we could just jump right into some excellent uses of it. So,
I love it. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And I'm just going to jump into our landing page to kind of just set the scene of things. And so if you aren't familiar with Jasper, it's a generative AI content platform. I'll probably be hitting on a couple of ways that set Jasper apart in regards to generative AI. I know generative AI is the biggest topic right now for marketers, but I think it's really important to understand the education behind each tool and the why behind it. If you're wanting to adopt generative AI securely, you need to choose the right platform to do so. And so there's a couple of things I always like to highlight with Jasper, and that always just spurs questions in regards to generative AI as well, that I would love to answer here. But with that being said, I think in our features page, we lay this out really well. And so I'd love to kind of walk through this and kind of give you an example in our platform of how this actually works. And so we call Jasper our AI marketing co-pilot. And Katie, you mentioned something at the beginning of a call about how generative AI isn't going to replace marketers. But if you aren't adopting generative AI, you may be replaced by marketers who are using it and leveraging it in that way. I had a customer tell me that a few weeks ago, and she was talking and I was literally writing it down. And I'm like, that is the perfect quote to really kind of encompass what's going on right now. And so thought that was so well done. But one critical component of Jasper that I love is what we call on our features page company knowledge, but I also like to position it as positioning. And so if you've ever used generative AI, something that is so important is actually understanding your brand first. And so if you're using generative AI, a really common misconception, a really common concern from marketers is the output doesn't sound like them. It's generic, it's inhuman. And so with Jasper, we've created what's called Jasper Brand Voice, where you can actually train Jasper specifically on how your content should sound. So maybe that's by asset, by channel, by medium, or maybe it's by client. I work with around 60 marketing agencies, and they're creating content for different clients within the platform, and they need Jasper to understand how they write content on a client by client basis. They go into Jasper Brand Voice and they tell Jasper how their content should sound. From there, they dip into our style guide to train Jasper on how their content should look stylistically and linguistically. I think a really huge thing is just saving time editing. I did a webinar this afternoon with our content marketing manager and SEO lead, and she has several new freelancers directly within the platform. With our style guide enabled, I can't remember the number she said, but it is saving them hours weekly having this enabled because they're not having to go and check off what to replace, what to include, what punctuation, and make sure it's always structured within their copy. All of that's built within our style guide. And then they also have their positioning in the knowledge base. What are our products? What do we offer? What are our upcoming events? Who is our audience? What are those personas included inside of Jasper? And so it all starts inside of positioning. And so what I thought I would do is kind of jump into my workspace very vulnerably and kind of just walk through those different components. Would love to answer questions, comments, thoughts, because I know this can spark some excitement as well as some questions as well within the space. And so I'm hopping into my internal workspace and I am going into voices. What you can see here is we have in my workspace just 17 voices. I create content for our brand across several different channels. So as a CSM, I'm constantly sending out customer communication emails. I do webinar scripts. I do social media copy we send out. I create help center articles. I use Jasper for a ton of different jobs, but my sound is different. As a CSM, my voice is very comfortable. It's very casual. I want to be very friendly. But as we're sending out lead magnet email campaigns, that's a little bit different. And as I'm writing help center articles, that is also different. And so inside of Jasper Brand Voice in this voice pillar, I get to train Jasper on the sound of our copy. My favorite thing here is I actually have my own brand voice as well. So not only how we're doing customer communications at scale, but also how I communicate as a CSM at Jasper. I have a very unique voice in comparison to my colleagues, and I want Jasper to know that. I want to bring this with me everywhere. So I added this into my voice pillar. So Jasper knows that, Jasper can replicate that. And so this is critical. And then you can also set up your style guide. So for us as a brand, everyone in our workspace, so around 200 employees, get access to our style guide. So they know what terms to always include, never include, trademark, abbreviate, replace. All of this is set up within our workspace to save our whole team time. I think within the past 2 weeks, we hired 8 new employees. They'll get access to our Jasper marketing workspace so they can come in here. And if they're creating collateral, they know exactly how we write as a brand. So they know anytime they're writing about artificial intelligence, that's always abbreviated. At Jasper, we never use the word input. We always like to say the word prompt. Things like that are already structured, as well as grammar and punctuation. So we always prefer an active voice. We do use an Oxford comma. We have specific ways that we write with numbers, things like that that are a little bit more linguistic. We have set up for our team. And then lastly is our knowledge base. And so this is actually super important for new employees because as they come in and leverage Jasper, they can come in here and get access to a library of 100 case studies. So they can go into our case study library, use Jasper Chat by applying that and ask Jasper, maybe it's a sales enablement person. So maybe it's an AE. They can apply that to chat and ask Jasper, give me an example of a case study of a customer who saw ROI with BDR enablement. They can grab that quote and use it to send to a customer as a lead. We have different stances on our approaches from our marketing segmentation on how we think through generative AI and ethics and responsible use. And so that way, as we're writing about it, we can make sure our messaging is really accurate. You can see everything else we have in here. So personas, again, customer stories. I can see what I most recently added in here. Some blog posts, some recent updates. So our art update as of May 2nd, we enabled Clip Drop inside of Jasper, which I can give you a demo of. So we acquired Clip Drop recently. Just to enhance that image generation component within the platform. We want to make sure we're writing about that. That's in here. We have our Jasper product newsletter that we added. So that way I can turn that into LinkedIn posts and blog posts. And so anything I want to reference, I can add here. But I know that's a lot. So curious if y'all have any questions, even Katie, Andrea, if you do as well. Would love to touch on that, bring any light to anything, anything that you can think of there.
So I have one, it might be very specific to how I use Jasper, but I've been using it to create a lot of blogs lately. And one of the things that I find is, so I'm going to use the example of ChatGPT just came out with their new update. And so I'm taking articles to reference and putting them in the knowledge base so that Jasper can reference those articles. But then that's the only time I'm ever going to use them in the knowledge base, likely. So when you're working with like current information like that, do you just leave them in the knowledge base forever and ever? Or for organizational purposes, do you get rid of them? Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like I have 3 different answers to that question. So bear with me. First thing is, well, anything in your knowledge base, anyone in your workspace can access. And so if it's in your knowledge base and maybe you use it this week, Andrea could access it 2 months later. If you feel like you would need to reference it again and again, I would keep it there. But if you feel like you don't need to reference it over and over again, you can remove it. Because you can always think through a functionality like remix. I work with a top 5 publishing company. And so they have manuscripts they don't need to keep in their knowledge base. They just need quick summaries for plot, character development, story arcs. So they'll go into remix, drop that manuscript in there and ask for a summary. And that way it's not in their knowledge base. So no one else has access to it. It's kind of private. So that's kind of my first thing, only if you would need to reference it again. Second thing, that kind of makes me think through tagging and an SOP. I know a lot of my bigger customers have an SOP system in place for tagging. So you can see company information, industry information, maybe it's by client, by project, just for like an organizational kind of aspect there of this is what we have and why it's here. And my last thing I think y'all will be excited to hear is that we're building out what is called groups. And so I've talked a lot with solution partners, with marketing agencies around spaces. And so spaces is in beta, and essentially a space allows you to organize content in Jasper by client, by project. But what we're going to be doing is building out groups, which has essentially more privacy enabled there, but it allows you to organize knowledge and voices by, I know I'm seeing clapping. Yes, I'm right there with you, by group. And so maybe that knowledge asset will only be specific to a project. It can live in a group and you know it's there. So it'll just help for organizational purposes. I feel like I went way too far in that question. Did that help at all, Katie?
Yeah, it totally did. I
Okay.
do have a follow-up because I
Yeah.
think one of the things that we encounter when we're training people on Jasper is they're used to the iterative form of Chat GPT or Claude or Gemini. And when they come to Jasper, it's set up a little bit different. We do have like the chat feature in Jasper, but
Yeah.
I normally click on like create content and go from there, or campaigns, depending on what I'm working on. So
Yeah.
for those who are coming from a different LLM, how do you typically recommend them starting on their workflow?
For sure. Amazing question. So I've been a CSM at Jasper for around 2 years, and prompting can be a hurdle. I have seen that over and over again. And so that's exactly why, just as you mentioned, if I open up a new document, we've created over 80 templates for key marketing scenarios, so you don't have to prompt. Of course, we still have Jasper Chat. You can see I just did a webinar on content marketing and SEO. So I was able to give Jasper an existing blog post and ask Jasper how to improve upon it. So I gave Jasper a very specific prompt to get a very specific output. I love using Jasper Chat specifically for ideation, brainstorming, and research. And so we have a Google search plugin in chat. So if you need citations, sources, footnotes, research, you can get it in chat. But what I recommend for newer workflows is the create panel, just because it's going to be a lot more intuitive. And so if I know I need to create email copy, I can select that category and look through these templates for email. Prompting is already done by our prompt engineers. So all I have to do is fill in the dynamic input fields for accuracy to get a high quality output. But with that, something I think I notice is maybe you're looking through this and you can't find the perfect template. So maybe you need to write a lead magnet email campaign. Maybe it's a 5 email mass nurture email sequence. We have this what do you want to create bar. So you can tell Jasper exactly what you want to create and you're still going to get a template. So I can tell Jasper, maybe I need a 5 email. I'm going to say a 5-part mass email nurture sequence. I'm going to click create just to kind of walk through a live example, applying voices and knowledge and style guide. And I'm going to start by selecting a voice here. So I'm going to choose I think we have one specifically for lead magnet. So I'm going to choose that voice and save it. Jasper's then going to ask me questions rather than me having to type in my goal, my audience, and my topic. So what is the primary goal of my email nurture series? Maybe it is to nurture leads towards conversion. I'm going to select that. Who is the target audience? I'm going to say decision makers, leads, and I'm also going to say marketing directors. Oop, and I'm going to fix my spelling there. And click next. And then with add more information, I'm going to click on knowledge and I'm going to add some context on Jasper. So I'm going to grab our marketing page here and maybe I'm going to grab our audience persona. So Jasper knows exactly who to target there. Maybe I want to tell Jasper the calls to action or content themes. So what to touch on. I can type these in, or I can click this generate response button to see how Jasper would approach this nurture series. So an introduction, addressing pain points, showcasing benefits and features, social proof and case studies, and a CTA. Jasper's building it for me. So as I click generate, I get this output. And so what I would recommend, kind of, Katie, again, long-winded answer, is of course you can use Jasper Chat. I can walk through best practices there, but I don't want you to feel stuck and having to become your own prompt engineer. I think that's hard. I think that can be difficult. And that's exactly why we built out templates, to hopefully make the process a little bit more intuitive and to handhold you a little bit further in the process.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I want to jump in too, because I've been using Jasper for a really long time, and I think I'm probably deeper in it than anyone else on the team, at least like the depth of how it goes. And I actually like using chat now. I did not like using it before because it did not function as well as using ChatGPT and the way the chat worked there. But now I find that it's much more powerful in the chat. I don't like using the templates because I already know what I want to ask for. So I think the templates and the create content are amazing, especially if you're not really sure and you're looking for ideas of, oh, I didn't even think to put in my audience, or I didn't even think to put in features and benefits, or whatever, because it prompts you to like include that information. I used to use the in document prompting a lot more. So I have also started to, I still use it. But what I will say is I used to use that like 90% of the time until I realized that I couldn't get back to it. I couldn't find out the prompt I had used to get the result I had gotten. So when I had gotten some fire results, I had no idea what I had just typed to get that, and I couldn't replicate it. What I could do is get the history of the chat. And so that's why I live in chat now. And I also live in chat now because Kaylin has helped me help my clients use it in like some super high power ways where we can apply templates, information, voices, and get these outputs that are just like exactly what we want it to be. So I now live in chat, and it is more iterative now than it used to be. But it depends on how you're using the system. For me, I feel like I push it to another level, so I'm in chat. I feel like if I was going to use create or some of those things, I would want specific templates that I would have areas that I already knew I was going to be filling in. But for the most part, I already have the information sitting somewhere, and I'm bringing it in like one big doc. And like when we get our clients to fill out a worksheet before we have a marketing strategy meeting with them, there's like 50 questions they answer, and I can bring it in and say, okay, from this, create a marketing strategy and apply this website and this voice. And here's another marketing strategy I did. So follow this format. And I also want some creative themes, and I want a social media calendar. And I'm also going to create an implementation calendar and include how many hours it's going to take for each task and blah, blah, blah. And like, and it's more than that, what I'm saying out loud, because I can't give you all my secrets, but it comes up with this plan, and there's still parts and things to do afterwards, but it's crazy, like the things I can get out of it. Then I will go into the document and add things to it. Like, okay, so now you've given me action items. Now give me details about each action item. And I will do that inside the document. So
Love that. Yes, I think you make an incredible point of everyone's workflow can be different. So if you have that understanding of, I know exactly what I need, I would probably turn to chat as well. Like for here, I know exactly what I needed to do. I needed to look at an ebook. I needed to create an email strategy and build it out directly from that ebook. I needed it to be 5 emails. I know exactly what I want to say. I can do it directly in chat. I can apply knowledge and I can apply my voice. So I think you make a fantastic point. You kind of have that power of choice, whether you want to use a more structured workflow or if you want to use a more conversational flow. And so what you can see I did here, and I'm loving this output, is we have an ebook. I think it's around 34 pages in our knowledge base on responsible AI usage from our marketing team. So I referenced that and I gave Jasper a simple prompt. So this was my original prompt here, to create a 5-part educational email sequence educating customers. But to really understand how to get the best output, I use this enhanced prompt button. I think this is huge, especially if you are using Jasper Chat in any of those ways she just mentioned. It serves as a really great, of course, tool to improve your prompts, but just for basic education to understand, what does generative AI need from me to get the best output? And so a basic kind of rule of thumb is a better input always equates to a better output. And you can see this incredible output here. I can click this double arrow, paste it in here, and I have 5 emails. But if I wanted to add on some research, I can go back into chat here and I can say, do some research. And maybe I want to say, provide me with some statistics on adoption of generative AI in marketing. And I'm going to say hyperlink to sources. And I'm going to send that off. And so with that Google search plugin, it makes it really easy for you to add to the authenticity and just the expertise behind your content here. So you can see I'm getting really great numbers that I can click into just to add to the power of my copy here. So love everything you just mentioned. I feel like, Andre, I feel like you're ahead of me at this point, which is amazing. I'm like learning things from you, which is exactly what
way.
I want to do. No, it's great. And so this is a source from Salesforce. So I can just click into that. And I can see, okay, this is awesome. Top generative AI statistics for 2024. I can see where Jasper got these numbers from, and I got this output. So I can copy it and I can paste it right on into my output here. If I want to make it shorter, I can highlight, ask Jasper, change length. So you really still have control as the editor, as you're using generative AI, and I can go ahead and replace there. So super helpful. Love that.
So there's a question in the chat. Oh, sorry, Katie. And Lisa, yeah, you can do that. You can also, so like for our blog, what we do is we also ask it to give us the metadata at the same time. We also ask it to give us like 3 social posts at the same time. We'll ask for outbound links. We'll ask for inbound or, internal links. And so if you are linking, when you're in the chat and you attach your website as knowledge, it will be able to do those links for you. So yeah, if you remember to do all of those things, so what I would recommend is your SOP. I mean, it all goes back to the very non-AI, very boring things of SOPs, right? So, because there's so many things to remember on these, right? So you want a really good headline, you want a really good metadata, you want, of course, really good copy and H2s and H3s, and you want some outbound links, and you want links to your own stuff, and you want, maybe you want image suggestions, and because it'll do that too. And, so think about all the things you want and make sure to ask for it all in your prompt. And then when you find out what works, you do that every time and then just change what the subject matter is. Yeah, it's just remembering it all. And that's where the SOP comes in.
For sure. That reminded me of something. I love that. A lot of my customers are using Jasper for that exact same use case. They already have maybe exactly all the things they need to get. And so they'll add it to their knowledge base. This reminded me of this webinar we also did this afternoon. So it was on SEO. And our content marketing lead walked through the brief that she actually uses to generate brief processes from Jasper for our external blog. And so we just added this like 20 minutes ago to the Academy. So anyone can come in here and make edits and use it themselves. But it's kind of just a general example of how it works. So you can download this PDF here. It's a writing brief template, and you can just plug in maybe this template. And so essentially you would add it to your knowledge base and ask Jasper to maybe execute the attached template or the structure for this topic. And Jasper will give you the keyword, the due date, title options, a meta description, post summary, type of post, pain points, what to cover, goal word count. And so all you would have to do is go into Jasper, add it to your knowledge base here, and then reference it in chat. And so I think we actually have a couple of examples here of templates.
Hey, I think that looks kind of familiar, Kaylin.
Yeah.
Bob's brief. While you're pulling your other examples up, does the word count, is that going to work now?
So I have seen tremendous improvement in word counts.
Okay.
Where I've noticed it be the best is in the create flow. In that custom information section, I know I work with someone in the legal sector, and they need every net landing page to be between, I think it's 1,000 and 1,300 words. And so they'll go into custom information, create, and ask for that amount. But I think that's something generative AI is still improving upon.
Yeah.
I know specifically character count is something our team is like in the depths in right now of improving character count.
Cool.
So I have seen improvements a ton across the board. I know I have, but I think asking for it specifically helps a ton rather than making assumptions of, oh, I need a blog post. That's long. I need it to be between X and X amount of words. I need X subheadings, things of that nature. I need X amount of words. Helps a ton, but I know we're making a ton of improvement and progress there. And I know I'll definitely keep you updated with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you mind putting that link to that template in the chat?
You bet. Yes. Only thing with that is you will need a Jasper Academy login to access it. But if you're a Jasper customer or not, you can access the Academy. It's non-gated. So let me go ahead and put that in there.
Thank you.
And actually, Katie, I have a Loom video that I already did for us with the brief that I had, because that's what I went to Kaylin with, was a brief Bob had to what was the best way, because they already had the research. So they had the research on the keywords they wanted to target. They already had the research on what it was they wanted to create. And so how do we get content based on already having this brief? And so this is amazing that now there's a template for it. So we could use this. I mean, if you already know what you want to target and you could just feed it to the system, I mean, basically that's what you're doing. So
for sure.
It's great.
I'm looking through here to see kind of what we have in terms of briefs and structure in here. But something else I also popped up is if you type in template in the Academy, there's others. So this is for audience personas. So adding your persona into Jasper for Jasper to understand the who of who you're trying to target for campaigns. So your campaign objectives and everything you would need from the output. Just for Jasper to understand your brand. So overview, positioning, strategy, messaging, assets, audience. So just some help on the template itself, but also how to use it and apply it. So really great resource here. Let's see if I have anything here I could use as an example. Let's see. I'm trying to think through what I have. This campaign strategy brief.
Lisa, did y'all have any other questions?
Yeah, I do have a general question. And mind you, I have fallen off the AI world for a while, and hi, so happy.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been in knee deep in ops here. Here is my question. So I've created my brand voice, okay, and I put in some knowledge base for the Flower CEO, and I'm futzing around with Jasper, not like the people here that we're really going to get serious about. And it'll write a LinkedIn post using the prompts that are in here, but I don't like it. So I take it out, I rewrite it, and I put it in with ChatGPT. I can put it back in and it learns. How do you do that with Jasper?
Yeah, team, feel free to add any of your best practices here. I would say a couple of things. One is I always like updating my voice. So if I get an output and I'm like, this more resembles how we sound, I can always go in here and make edits to my voice. you can always create two voices for social to kind of A/B test them against one another. And something you can always do is create a knowledge-based item that kind of follows like your structure. I know that's something customers are doing more and more often. So for example, emails. Some people love short emails, some people love long emails. So one of my customers has a knowledge-based item that tells Jasper exactly how their email should be structured. So it should be written in one sentence lines. It builds a story. It's not a paragraph by paragraph format. It focuses on a familiar concept. Like all of that's built here so she can apply it so Jasper can really understand structure. So just a couple of best practices there, but Katie, Andrea, curious to what you have to add there in your own experience.
Okay, so I'll tell you what has made the biggest difference for us. Not using the voice you created from your website. The voices that work are you as an individual, and you want to know the easiest way. And how I created all three, me, Katie, and Nicole's voice, is I downloaded transcripts from different calls that we did. This doesn't even matter what it's about. And so I downloaded the transcript, and then I told AI to take out everybody except Nicole. Then I put that into the knowledge base, or I put that into the voice, or told it to create a voice based on this transcript. And it was so good. Oh, Caitlin, I never told you about this too.
I know, I'm getting excited hearing this.
Oh yeah, I should just open
So
it.
exciting.
No, it was so right
Wow.
on that
Wow.
even guessed their zodiac signs based on, it was right for Nicole
That
and
is
Katie.
hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Swear to you, it guessed both of them the first time based on, I just picked random calls that I was able to download transcripts with just their words. And again, it doesn't matter what it's about, because all of it, all it's doing is like getting how you talk and the words you use and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it knew, because I was talking to Katie about it. I think we're on Zoom, and she said, she was jokingly, you should ask it if it knows what my zodiac sign is. And I did, and it totally guessed she was a Gemini. And
Wow.
and we were just like, what? And so we did it for Nicole, and it guessed right away, Sagittarius. And funny enough, though, I have done mine 3 times, and it still can't figure me out. But that's not really surprising, because of, I'm a Capricorn, and we're very like, you know, sort of, we don't
Poker
show
face.
who we are. So that kind of makes sense. But
Shonda,
Shonda,
yeah.
you could definitely do Zoom or read. It doesn't matter. Just a transcript. It doesn't even matter. But so Lisa, if you had a transcript of your conversation and you loaded that and made your voice, your LinkedIn post would sound like you, not the voice of 50 Flowers, which does not sound like you. And
Oh,
that's
no, but I have my own, I have the Flower CEO voice that I've created. And I've used it when creating this, but I like the way to organically just cut everybody
it
out.
comes out so much better.
Yeah. Okay.
So much better.
It
Andrea,
sounds more humanistic too, because the way, like, think about the way that you write copy for your website or for other formats, and that's not the way that we talk as individuals.
Yes.
And when you're on LinkedIn and social media platforms, you want to talk as if you're talking to other human beings. That's how everybody, that you want to be social. So the best way to do that is grab some sort of knowledge. It could be the transcript. It could be like your previous social media posts that you've written, just other formats where you are being your authentic self, and that's how it's going to learn the best.
Yeah, great. This is wonderful. Andrea, what AI tool did you use to take out everybody but that person, but me?
I think I pasted it into a doc in Jasper and then just did the / take out everybody except Nicole, and then it did it.
Okay.
Or I did it in chat. Either way. Yeah, no, I think I did it in chat like that in Jasper. I
Okay.
just said, remove everybody except Nicole from this transcript or something to that effect. And then it did, and I just moved it over to the doc, and then I just loaded that as knowledge, and then I created a voice based on that. Like, I just loaded it in there as, you know, it wasn't pretty. I didn't reformat it. It just,
Yep.
You're
and
saying.
it totally worked.
If,
It was,
let's just say Nicole was answering a question, it didn't matter because she was just talking and it was her words. Okay.
no, because I'll tell you, let's see what Nicole says in her voice.
And feel free to share your screen as well.
Okay.
Like a little behind the scenes from you.
And Ned, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in.
Hey, thanks guys. No, I'm good for right now. I'm really just taking it all in. You know, we have a Jasper account, but we're definitely sort of the beginning stages. But our company, which does training, can definitely benefit from this. And I'm just getting a lot of great ideas from you guys, and certainly from Jasper. You know, setting up ways to sell into all of these classes that we offer. So anyway, I'm just listening, and thank you so much for including me in this.
Thanks for being here, Ned. So for Nicole's, informal, engaging, and instructional with a conversational style. Her tone is personal, weaving in relatable anecdotes to create a more intimate connection with the audience. Feels like you're sitting down for a chat rather than being lectured. This brand utilizes a mix of directive language and rhetorical questions to guide the reader through complex concepts and exercises, making learning feel interactive and dynamic. To recreate this tone, embrace an approachable and relaxed style of communication while maintaining authority and expertise on the subject matter. Use plenty of real-world examples and personal experiences to simplify complex concepts, making them more tangible for your audience. Actively involve your readers by asking questions or suggesting tasks they can undertake themselves. Keep things lighthearted but informative, aiming to educate while keeping engagement high. And then Katie's, casual, friendly, and educational. Informal tone that uses colloquial language to break down complex procedures into understandable segments, fostering a sense of community and shared learning. Tone suggests the brand values open dialogue, inviting questions and feedback from audience in a supportive environment. To emulate this style, maintain an approachable conversational tone throughout. Use accessible language to explain technical concepts or processes, and encourage reader interaction frequently by asking questions or seeking input. Employ an empathetic tone that recognizes the potential challenges faced by your audience while providing constructive advice or solutions.
Oh, I want to share what comes out of mine.
Did you do it already?
Let's see it.
I haven't done it yet. I'll share it with you.
Okay, when you do it, see how I have 3 because I wasn't happy with any of them.
Yeah, but those nailed it. And
That was incredible. Yeah.
I know they did. They totally nailed it. Mine, I like number 2 the best, so I'll read you that one. This one seems to give me what I think is most accurate of me. Supportive, collaborative, and friendly. Casual but efficient with focus on problem solving and mutual understanding. Voice conveys a relaxed atmosphere, but also a commitment to getting tasks done correctly. Conversations center around educating others and fostering teamwork while maintaining an informal and approachable demeanor. To replicate this style, one should maintain a conversational tone throughout the content, use language that is straightforward and clear, avoiding jargon or overly complex phrasing, encourage dialogue and feedback to promote a sense of collaboration and shared responsibility, acknowledge potential issues openly without placing blame, focus instead on solutions and improvements for future operations.
I want to know her.
You do.
I know her.
One of the other things that I like to do too, because when we do change our voice depending on what we're working on sometimes, but I will go to other companies' social media platforms and see how other companies are writing. And then I'll plug their information into Jasper and see what kind of adjectives it gives back. Because if I like the style that a company is doing, and I'm like, I don't want to replicate their whole style because that's not authentic, but maybe I like certain things that they're saying or doing. And I want to know what the right adjectives are to use to prompt Jasper to write in that style or tone. So that can also be really helpful if you're in a situation where you're developing your brand voice as well. You're not really sure which direction, how professional you want to be, how colloquial you want to be. So and that's something that we do in our classes. We look at other brand voices, play around with them, see how they come out when we instruct Jasper to use that voice. And there's so many good examples because there's so many distinct voices out there. And that's really one of the things I really like about Jasper is it really helps you like nail down your own distinct voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here is the one where I was doing Katie's voice, and you'll see like it has the timestamps from the transcript I use and everything. And when I asked it what it thought her zodiac sign was, is right here. So it was talking about placing a bet on Katie's zodiac sign might just be the curious twist you didn't know you needed today. Based on her enthusiastic embrace of technology, her evident joy in sharing knowledge, and her social nature during the discussion, one could persuasive yet entirely speculative guess, shall we say Gemini? Known for their adaptability, Geminis are often quick learners who are exceptionally curious and communicative, thriving in situations where exchange of ideas is the order of the day, and humor, their quick wit, is often a telltale sign. However, without Katie divulging her birth date, our guest remains an amusing flutter in the world of astrological speculation.
I am the
That
funny
it
one
was
on the
correct.
team.
That is too good. Wow.
Right?
You should ask Jasper about the culture index. What
Oh,
profile would she
Oh,
on the
what would
culture
we ask
index?
it?
Yeah.
What would we ask it about the culture index? Like,
Okay.
what would her
Yeah. Do you know
rating
the
be or
CI,
score?
Katie?
we had it done before, but I don't remember. I'll have to look it up.
Well, or just email me and I'll send you my link and you'll get your results too.
What would I ask it? What would Katie be on the culture index?
Yeah.
Or
What would be Katie's profile, culture index profile?
I have like so many things I want to do after this call now to play around.
I know, right?
I need to figure out all this about myself.
And if anybody on this call wants to know their culture index, just send me an email,
visionary?
liza@flowers.com. Well, it's not a visionary. So you'd be either a trailblazer, daredevil. And just say which, okay, a visionary archetype, this profile is behind. Okay, just say trailblazer.
Do they have specific names, those?
Yeah, there's daredevil.
I mean, are they, if visionary is an archetype, what are those things called?
Well, there are 4 underneath visionary. I'm a trailblazer. There is a daredevil, and I don't remember the other 2. They're the labels.
Labels?
Yeah, like what is the culture index?
I'm a facilitator.
You're a facilitator.
Why did I?
We might have to add that in as knowledge, and then maybe I don't know if Jasper is fully trained on the culture index yet.
Nope, it still wants her to be a visionary. But yeah, you could train Jasper on it and then ask it, and then it would know. But either way, it has a little bit of information there. But it was really funny because it was just randomly, we were like, okay, let's see if Jasper, based on what Katie said in this conversation, also knows what she is as a zodiac.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
It's just really
Wow.
fun.
It is fun, right?
Especially that it was right.
I think I'm gonna test my Enneagram and see how spot on it guesses for that
There
one.
you
That's gonna be
go.
my next little experiment.
There you
Right?
go. There you go.
We'll have to have you back on again, Kaylin. I mean, we're already at the
Um,
3 o'clock. It goes so fast, but there's always new things to learn.
Oh,
And
it's 4 o'clock. This is
yeah,
why I love this. I
I
love this.
know.
I've missed
And
y'all.
I missed the SEO one
Oh.
earlier, but that is something I definitely want to cover. Um, especially because we have a subscription to the Surfer SEO. I don't think we're fully taking advantage of it. And we need to do that and use all the tools. And yeah, so maybe we can get into that a little bit more next time. But for now, we've got some new tools. There's the link in both the lives and the chat for the free avatar creation. So that will be there. And then, of course, the template that Kaylin provided for the brief. And let's also share our Jasper link. So if anybody's interested in signing up for Jasper, we have a link where you get some extra goodies if you use the link instead of just signing up through the website. Also, we've got our level 1 course that starts next week. So we'd love it if you would join. It's 10 weeks, 10 modules, and of course, Jasper is part of that. And we definitely go through brand voice, brand story, source of truth. All of that has to do and has Jasper as part of it, because building your knowledge base is part of source of truth. Of course, brand voice, and building your campaigns and strategies, and even getting into email, SMS, like pretty much every part of it. We do teach other tools, but we also really love Jasper, especially because it uses so many of the other tools. So when one tool is down, there's other tools it can count on, which is great. So hopefully next time, Kaylin, let's talk about the Surfer SEO. That would be great. And when do you think what's going on with click drop and all the happenings with that?
For sure. So Clip Drop is actually now in the platform. So if you go into a document, I apologize if you hear a barking puppy in my background. But if you go into a document, and you click that plus button, you'll see add image. And now you can directly add a royalty-free image from Unsplash. It could be your own image, and you're going to see some options of what you can do with it. So maybe it's removing the background, upscaling the images, resizing the image. You'll see a couple of options to do that directly there outside of Jasper functionalities too.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
very
can't wait to see like the stuff that gets added with that, because
Oh, I know.
I didn't even really look at ClickDrop before until we heard that you guys had acquired them, but then we've been looking at it, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. So that'll be really great.
Yeah, one of the things I like about it too with the Unsplash images is it puts the credit in there for the photographer
Automatically?
automatically. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for your participation. And Lisa, we'll look forward to hearing your improved brand
Yeah.
voice.
And email me if y'all want your CI